Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories. If you do love a relationship story, why not consider hitting a like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out the channel. And let's dive straight into today's first story. Now today's first story does come with an update. And it's from a throwaway account titled, "Wife and I agreed to an open relationship for hookups. Now I'm in love with someone else." We got together very early. I was 18 and she was 24, and have been together for 9 years now. Recently she made friends with a couple who were swingers and became very interested in the lifestyle. At first I was uncomfortable, but then I met the couple and the husband had some long talks with me. He talked to me about jealousy and why it's unhealthy to be jealous if my wife sleeps with someone else. It's just sex and she still loves me. I shouldn't treat her as if she belongs to me, as she can make her own choices, and I'm one of those choices, and how her having hookups will actually bring us closer, and our intimacy will increase as a result. We had these talks multiple times, and my wife had made it clear that she won't go ahead without my yes, but it was abundantly clear that is something she really wanted to do, so I said yes. When the time came about choosing partners, my wife said she wanted her first time to be with someone she trusted, so that if she didn't want to go all the way, then that person would stop. So she chose the husband of the couple, and asked if I wanted to sleep with the wife, but I wanted it to be a complete stranger, so I declined. They also proposed a foursome with everyone in the same room, but I declined that too, as I was not ready to watch my wife with someone else. So I got on a dating app and made a profile and got some matches. I met 2 women with whom I had no chemistry, and it didn't go any further than a first date. While my wife slept with the husband on her first time, it was when I met the third woman that I felt an instant connection. I told her everything and she didn't mind. We spent the first date just talking, like we talked for 6 hours, and would have talked some more if it wasn't very late in the night already. So it's been 4 months now, and I've been seeing her exclusively and I feel amazing. My wife has also gone on a number of dates during this period, but I don't mind that as much as I always look forward to meeting my other partner. Now the intimacy between me and my wife has dropped a lot as I am getting all my needs met by my other partner, and this has made my wife insecure. We haven't had sex in the last 3 weeks, but I have been having regular sex with my girlfriend. She's monogamous to me, and when I asked her if she would ever consider becoming my girlfriend if I was single, then she replied in the affirmative. I told my wife this and she was very upset and demanded that I cut contact with her immediately, but I refused. I'm not stopping her from finding someone else, but I'm not going to leave my other partner. My wife, on the other hand, wants to go back to being exclusive, but I can't see that happening now, and it's causing a lot of arguments between us. I am actually making this post from my girlfriend's house as me and wife had a big fight and I came here to calm down. I would really like some advice here on how to proceed in this situation, and I apologize for mistakes, but English is not my first language. And as I said, we do have an update to this post, but to me, and I may be jumping straight away here, but it feels like it's already over, that you love this other woman more than your wife. That's the way it feels to me anyway. I kind of wanted to make a comment on the very first paragraph, and I was like, the husband is having long talks with you about, not being jealous and how it's unhealthy and all this kind of stuff. And it's just sex and she still loves you. And it kind of felt like, of course he's going to say that. He's getting some benefits out of saying that in the end. He's getting to sleep with your wife. And the whole way through this, it never felt like he was truly comfortable with this in the first place. And it kind of all felt very rushed to me, like there was no sort of boundaries put in place to begin with. It was, yep, wife wants to try the swinger lifestyle, so let's go with it. Let's find her a partner, job done, and then you go on dates and that's it. It felt like there was no rules in place for this. But before we go to the update, we'll cover a couple of the comments to see what they say. But Zion says, maybe the guy who wanted to bang your wife wasn't the guy to get marriage advice from. RockInvest02 says, turns out this marriage was over before either of you even realized it. You already chose your girlfriend over your wife, so it's over, dude. File the paperwork and quit dragging it out. You can never recover from this. Attention replies to that one saying, absolutely agree. Even if it's subconscious, you know that your wife wanted to have sex with that particular guy. The guy who talked you into an open marriage. You know this because us readers can get that from your writing. You and your wife are no longer compatible, and given how young you were when you got together, that's not surprising. End the marriage, start fresh with the girlfriend, and learn from the communication issues. Bush Elk says, sounds like you both needed to have clearer terms before you started. However, as it's too late for that, if your wife is asked to go back to exclusive, you either need to end it with her or the girlfriend because it's no longer a mutual agreement. Timothy Dexter's Ghost says, sounds like you are a monogamous man who was pressured into an open relationship, thus it makes perfect sense you sort of emotionally abandoned the open relationship and formed another monogamous one. Girlfriend and him seem to be exclusive. There is no coming back from this. If you leave the girlfriend, you will always think of her and resent your wife, and she will be resentful about your other love. Best to divorce. Shocking First Bullet replies that saying, yeah, it seems like he didn't want to have an open relationship, but was pressured into it by his wife and this other couple, which is fucked up. I hear about these open marriage situations, and it always seems like there is one person who needs to be pressured into agreeing to it. So OP basically started to move on and found a new girlfriend. Your wife kinda ended your marriage and then you didn't realize or communicate clearly that it was a deal breaker. And one more from Hyperacid123 who says, I believe you checked out of the relationship the moment she told you about this couple. However, you were with her because of comfort and stability. When you started dating, you weren't looking just to hook up, based on the context of the post, but something more, and when you found it, you are out. Divorce your wife and be with your girlfriend. So now we're going to move on to the update to see what that says. So I got a lot of advice on my post, and for that I am really grateful. A lot of you called me out too regarding crossing of boundaries, and I think you guys were right. I've been thinking a lot in the past 2 to 3 days. Perhaps I should have done more thinking when we decided to open our relationship, but that's water under the bridge. Anyways, I've reached 2 conclusions about myself. I'm not poly and I have very low self-esteem. The only reason I said yes to the open relationship was because I didn't want to lose my wife. She was my first serious girlfriend and we got married when I was 23. So when the topic of open relationships came up and I realized that my wife is very enthusiastic about the idea, I did the only thing I could to keep her happy and stay married. Agree to the open relationship. I have also come to another sad realization about myself. I no longer love my wife as a romantic partner, perhaps not for a long time. That's why my emotions when she went to that guy for the first time was not jealousy but sadness. I'd realized that my relationship is over, but I lacked the required self-awareness to actually say something to my wife. And it's the reason why I fell in love with my girlfriend so easily. I was essentially single. I will always care for my wife, but I can't be in a relationship with her any longer. Now regarding my relationship with my girlfriend, maybe it will last long or maybe it will fizzle out in the next few months. I know I will land on my feet in either scenario. I will talk to my wife tonight after she comes home about divorce, and I know she will be heartbroken, but I see no other way forward. Even if we go back to being a monogamous couple, we will just be one of those couples who don't love each other but are staying together because it's easier than divorcing. Anyways, I want to thank everyone who took the time to give me advice. It's deeply appreciated. And I think that's probably the best in this situation. But I am sort of curious how long, they may have been struggling together for a while, that maybe that's why she easily went for the open relationship and he so easily broke off like he said in his post. But like OP said and many of the comments said, I just couldn't see it lasting past that point. Even if he was still in love with her in some ways, I can't see them moving past this anyway. But what do you guys think of this one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to another story. And our next story comes from Gnarly Trash Bear and does follow with an update, additional information as well, titled I, 28 male, falsely accused my girlfriend, 25 female, of cheating based on fake text messages screenshots sent by a friend's ex. Is there any hope? My girlfriend's best friend has a boyfriend that is now an ex-boyfriend. I didn't know they broke up and I never really talked to the guy, but he reached out to me and tried to manipulate me into thinking my girlfriend was cheating on me. How did he do this? In a number of ways. First of all, he shared a well-crafted fake screenshot of a conversation with his girlfriend in which he basically says, my girlfriend has an open relationship with me, which is not true. We do not have an open relationship. He presented this information in a way that was like, hey, I didn't know you had an open relationship. In the same screenshot conversation, she straight up says that my girlfriend has been sleeping with another guy for a while now. After that, he went on to explain that his girlfriend was cheating on him with other guys and he wanted to warn me that my girlfriend is probably doing the same thing. This is the part where I become the villain. For some stupid fucking reason, I believed him. I accused my girlfriend of cheating and I showed her the screenshot. Almost immediately, I knew I was an idiot. The screenshot was fake. I was wrong, and I can't believe I let a year's worth of trust just completely fall by the wayside. I apologized and told her I can't believe I believed him and that I was sorry for accusing her of cheating. She was very hurt by my accusation, as she has a right to be. She thinks that our relationship will now just be an endless cycle of me thinking that she is cheating on me. I disagreed, but obviously there are some underlying trust issues with me that I need to work out. She wants some space to think about the future of our relationship. I really love her immensely, and I recognize that I was a complete idiot for falling for this manipulation and just forgetting about the trust we've been building for over a year. Is there any recovery from this? Is there anything I can do to help recover? If she decides to give it another chance, how can I help rebuild the trust that I damaged? And we've got some little bits of additional information. Loon says, "What did you say to her when you accused her?" And OP replied saying, "I said, I'm going to be completely straight with you. Someone just told me that you've been sleeping with another man and that you tell your friends that you have an open relationship with me. I didn't believe them, but then they showed me proof." Then goes on to say, "I then went on to share the screenshot and some of the other details of our conversation. At one point she said, 'I can't believe you think I've been pretending to love you this entire time.' And I said, 'I think that you love me, I just don't understand why,' her best friend, would say that you sleep with other men. I won't pretend that I handled the conversation well, but I think I could have handled it much worse." Mild Attitude says, "Why did you fall for this manipulation? Fake screenshots are one thing, but you say you immediately realized that this was nonsense after you said it. What's up with that?" OP replied saying, "I realized it was nonsense when she said the screenshot is fake, told me her best friend's ex is manipulative and that he is an ex now and has done crap like this in the past. This all happened within about 2 hours, by the way. Basically, my emotions flared up when I started getting bombarded by the information and fake screenshot, and I talked to her as soon as I could about it." Hannah's Flora says, "I can't be the only one thinking that the best friend's ex is trying to split up this relationship so he can make a move, right? I'm otherwise curious about the motivation here. Unless the ex is an actual psychopath and is just doing this to try and exert some kind of power. What does he gain from trying to do this? I trust my husband of 12 years more than anyone in this world. But putting myself in your shoes, I would certainly have a moment of what the fuck if I saw a text that said my husband was having an affair, and I would at least tell him I received this text and proceed from there. That said, if you actually did accuse her of cheating rather than just saying something like, 'Hey, I'm getting these weird texts that say you're sleeping with someone else, do you know what this is?' And then yeah, that would probably be the end of the relationship. Give her the space she's asking for right now and see what happens. If she decides not to end things for good, the only real healer here is time and patience." OP replied to that saying, "To be fair, I did not come out and directly accuse her. I posted elsewhere in these comments the exact words I used, which we just read. The problem is, I didn't do enough to say I didn't believe him. I'll give her space and hope for the best. I don't think I deserve a chance after this. In terms of what the ex gains, I think he wants to get revenge on his ex by screwing up her best friend's relationship. He was convinced that she was cheating on him all the time and she is very close best friends with my girlfriend. I think he is also jealous of our relationship because it's been very rock solid until now. His relationship was not solid. They were always breaking up and getting back together and blocking each other." And one more from Tunafart, great name, says, "You're not a villain, lol. You're a victim. And there's no reason to think this is the start of an endless cycle of anything. You thought you had evidence of cheating and you brought it to her. You realized it was fake and you trust her. You two would be fools to let this arsehole get what he wanted by sowing chaos in the first place." Now, as said, we have an update to this one, so we're going to move to that right now. So, update. In my previous post, I stated that I falsely accused my girlfriend of cheating. I have since learned that the evidence that was given to me by her best friend's on-again, off-again ex was real. The conversation really did happen, and her best friend really did say that we are in an open relationship and that she is sleeping with other guys. I know it's real because I saw a video of the ex scrolling through the conversation. It's important to note that the conversation was during one of their many breakups, and it's believable that she was lying in order to make her own actions at the time look better. I was willing to believe this. Meanwhile, we took some space. Edited for clarification, I messaged her about 4 days into the space as a check-in to let her know I still cared and wanted to work it out, and to please let me know if she wanted to continue thinking. She read the message but didn't respond. I then waited another 2 days and sent her a full apology for the way I approached her with the information. I told her I should have come to her as a partner and treated this like an obstacle for both of us to overcome, not something for me to put on her. Given our relationship has always had good communication, this felt like it was the silent treatment to me. I felt abandoned, confused, and a lack of empathy on her part for how I was feeling. I felt like I was in limbo and the pain was too much for me to suffer through for 7 days. I've never been a suspicious boyfriend. I've never stalked her socials or tried to pry into her private life with her friends. If something happened that made me feel uneasy, I always brought it up with her, and we resolved things happily and were stronger for it, and she did the same with me. I never asked to be given evidence of her cheating. I didn't seek it out, and yes, I reacted strongly, but I was still reasonable, and I even apologized during the argument about how heated I was. So 1 week from our argument, after she still refused to speak with me, I sent her a message saying that I couldn't be in a relationship where we don't communicate. I told her how this entire thing made me feel and ended it. Now I feel angry and guilty and depressed, but as hard as those feelings are, they aren't anywhere near as painful as being in limbo. Edits. Thanks to everyone for the sometimes critical but mostly supportive advice. I appreciate all of it. There are a few commenters that I feel like are here in bad faith, but their negativity is drowned out by the Redditors who really want to help and offer advice. I'm going to see a therapist starting next week to really talk through all of this and figure things out for myself. I recognize that I messed up here a lot and I need to deal with that for myself. I sincerely hope both her and I take the lessons from this into our next relationships and find happiness. And then there was another edit where they said thank you because people were saying to get an STD check. And again, there was additional comments with information where people were asking stuff. So Alternative Wing says, so your girlfriend really was cheating on you. How did you think the screenshots were fake anyway? OP replies saying, I still don't know for sure, but it's more likely now. Either her best friend lied during the conversation to try and manipulate her then boyfriend, or she was telling the truth, also to manipulate her then boyfriend. What gives me pause is that she also said that I was sleeping with other people, hence an open relationship. But I know that isn't true, and I never told her that. So if my part was a lie, it's believable that my girlfriend's part was a lie too. I believed my girlfriend at the time because I love her and wanted to believe her very badly. She said something like, I know that isn't her best friend, in a way that she didn't believe the conversation was real. Miss Mumba says, honestly, I don't think the ex was lying to you. Your girlfriend has taken space because she's trying to figure out how to clean up her mess. I bet you she feels blindsided by her best friend revealing that info to her boyfriend, and her ghosting you is the shame and guilt, plus figuring out her story and cleaning up loose ends. She feels exposed. OP replies saying, you might be right, I just couldn't take the waiting anymore. I'm not as strong as the people who can just forget about it and focus on themselves while their entire relationship is up in the air, unsure of how it will land. Cynthia says, why would he lie to you? What does he stand to gain? Now that there is more evidence, it's clear his ex and your ex were both cheaters. I'm sorry you went through this, but at least you won't waste any more time. And one more comment from Mindtaker who says, well, good for you. Silent treatment is for children playing house and not a grown-ass adult capable of being in an adult relationship. You did the right thing. Since you're unsure of her actions, make sure to get checked out just to be safe. It sucks and it's stressful, but it's what you gotta do for your health and that of any future partners. Also, block her on everything. You hung on pretty long before deciding to drop it. 7 days is like 6 days too long to wait to discuss something important in a healthy relationship. So she could probably talk you into just talking, which turns into you being back here wondering if she has turned over a new leaf, only to get fucked over again later. So remove the variable from the equation. It's not like you are going to be friends with an ex-girlfriend. Very few people are comfortable dating someone who is friends with their exes. I should say long-term exes. If two people went on a date and were like, oh my, we're not meant to date, we are however totally awesome friends. I don't think that's a big deal personally, but that's just me. Good luck, feel your feelings and get a clean bill of health. Wowee, what a time. Now, what do you guys make of this one? What would you do if this was you in that relationship? Do you think girlfriend cheated or not with that information? I think OP still doesn't know themselves in some ways. But as always, we see in these relationships, there's just proof there, you know, that communication, if you don't talk, things are going to break up eventually. And like one of the last comments there said, you know, where the girlfriend stopped communicating with OP, that was already 6 days too many to just keep someone on standby like that. And it's not a healthy relationship. But what do you guys make of this one? Are you as confused as me? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, a huge thank you for spending 20 to 30 minutes with me today, getting involved in the channel, the likes, the subscribes. Everything you do means the absolute world. As I always tell you, you make an absolute massive difference in everything you do. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.